Alright. Wait, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, so this is Pokemon Yellow. It's a game that I'm sure most of you are probably a little bit familiar with. It's very similar to Red and Blue, except it had additions from the anime put into the game. So, to start with, I'm just going to name myself and my rival one-character names. It doesn't matter what I name them, but I'm going to name myself I and my rival you, just because it gives a little bit of fun self-narrative to the text as it comes up. So, yeah, Pokemon Yellow. So, the main difference that Yellow gave from Red and Blue is instead of getting the option between 3 good Pokemon, you don't get the option, nor do you get a good Pokemon. So Oak comes out just as normal and tells you not to go into the grass, but instead he catches a Pikachu, and then you end up getting the Pikachu. So I mentioned before that it introduced elements of the anime into the game. Unfortunately, it only did some of them, so while you end up getting a Pikachu, you don't get options like turn on the sprinklers or aim for the horn. And it turns out without those, Pikachu is hot trash. It is absolute complete garbage. To give you an example of how garbage Pikachu is, if he gave you a Magikarp that only knew Splash, it would be better. Okay, so there is one fight that Pikachu is going to do, which is the first rival fight, because I don't have any other option. And while it's very inconsequential immediately on how this fight goes, it actually does have long-term ramifications whether I win or lose this fight. And the reason for that is your rival gets Eevee in this game, and so it's usually very obvious to tell what team your rival gets if you pick you pick Squirtle, he picks Bulbasaur, and then he bases his team around that. But it's less obvious because you're forced to get Pikachu, which of the Eevee evolutions he gets. But the way it works is it's determined by how many of the first 2 rival fights you win determines which Eevee evolution he gets. So the second rival fight is actually optional, so you never win that fight because you don't do it because it's slow. And winning both the fights would get Jolteon, so you're never going to see Jolteon. But 1 win gets Flareon, and no wins gets Vaporeon. And it's actually slightly faster to lose this fight in the immediate sense, but for the overall run, I actually want to win, and I'm going to win. I've got a crit here, so all good. The reason it's slower is because Pikachu's going to get experience here, and he's going to learn a move, which I don't care about. But the rival having Flareon is better. Not necessarily because Flareon is easier to kill than Vaporeon, but more because he ends up getting Cloyster instead of Ninetales, which gives more experience, which is really relevant. But it's not relevant for about an hour, so I'll come back to that later. So, that's it for Pikachu. Pikachu's done. So, the first roadblock that Pikachu would come up against is Brock. And Pikachu just can't do anything against Brock. But most Pokemon can't actually do anything against Brock. Because most things come with, Tackle or Poison Sting or something like that. And he's got big defensive ground rock Pokemon, and they just do no damage. And so even if you played this game casually, you might actually know the 3 Pokemon that learn moves pretty early on that are decent against Brock. And they are Butterfree, which learns Confusion, Mankey, which learns Low Kick at level 9, and Nidoran that learns Double Kick at level 12. Now, between those 3 Pokemon, you might be able to figure out that Butterfree's probably not going to be good enough to beat the game with, but Mankey and Nidoran might be a bit close, and you would be wrong. They're not close at all. Nidoran is so far better than everything else. You might think, given I said Mankey learns Low Kick at level 9, well, you don't have to raise it as much. That's also incorrect. It actually takes less experience to level a Nidoran to 12 because it's on a different EXP curve. Yellow's like the only game in the entire series where we've never changed what Pokemon you use because Nidoran is just so much better than absolutely everything else. So I will be catching a Nidoran and using that. So just a little bit of optimization here and talking to Oak from behind. This looks very weird, but I promise you it's faster. The reason it's faster is your rival walks very, very slowly in this game. And by talking to Oak from behind, I've actually scrolled the camera upwards, and your rival comes from below and then leaves to below as well. So by scrolling the camera upwards, he actually takes less steps on the screen. So it ends up being faster for me to take more steps so that he takes less. So okay, now that I've delivered the parcel, I can go pick up balls and get my Nidoran. So finding Nidorans is not easy. They aren't that common. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and manipulate the random number generator so that I can get a Nidoran straight away and catch the Nidoran straight away and have the Nidoran have good stats. Now, RNG manipulation it's not impossible. It's definitely doable. It's not easy. It's definitely not as easy as manipulating it in, say, Beyblade. But it is intimidating for new runners to see because it's definitely one of the harder things in this run to get done. And so you could definitely, I definitely could mess this up a couple of times. The way it works is you have to, like everything quite particular, you have to save on a very specific point. You have to clear every single instance of text or option choosing or scrolling through like the title screen perfectly. And even if you do everything perfectly up to the point where you throw the Pokeball, there's still a chance it will fail. Because there's different things like the in-game timer that actually affect the RNG. And you don't have complete control over where the in-game timer is because you're taking a different amount of time to get to certain points. And keeping track of the exact frame that the in-game timer is at is just not something that's feasible at all. So the manipulation for the Nidoran, if I do it correctly, has about a 96% chance of getting a Nidoran, but only a 90% chance of getting a good Nidoran. So while it's significantly higher than the 5% of even getting one to show up if I just went into the grass normally, it still is a make or break point of the run. Okay. So there's the save. So here we go. Okay, this looks good. It'll probably be a Nidoran. Good. Okay, I messed up the manip. That's a shame. I'm just going to throw the ball and see if it works. It probably won't. It did not. All right, we'll try again. So I done everything up until scrolling down because you have to, again, you have to do everything perfectly. So you have to scroll down to the items and then use the Pokeball perfectly. And so I just hit A a little bit early and opened up the fight menu. Okay, this might work. I'm not 100% confident on this. It works! Perfect! Okay, so I'm just going to give this Nidoran a nickname as well, because I'm going to use Nidoran a lot. Giving it a one-letter nickname is good, and I just checked its stats there to make sure it is a good one, and it is. So the run can continue. Okay, so like I said, Nidoran learns Double Kick at level 12, so I do have to get it to level 12 before Brock. Otherwise, it's just going to take about 10 minutes to beat Brock by spamming potions and healing, and that's not very fast. So I want the experience. So I'm going to fight a bunch of trainers in Viridian Forest. So I want to take a moment here to talk about critical hits in this game. So critical hits work a little bit differently in Gen 1, like pretty much everything. So critical hits in this game do not double the amount of damage that you do. Instead, they double the level in the damage formula, which does not double the amount of damage. It does increase it, and as you get higher level, it ends up getting very close to doing double damage. So when I'm at like the mid-40s towards the end of the run, it does about 1.9 times the amount of damage, but when I'm in single digits here, it's actually doing only about 1.5 times. So because I'm using Leer to drop defense, because in Gen 1 when you get a critical it ignores all stat modifications, I'm actually doing less damage when I critical. So that Caterpie took an extra turn than it should have because I got a critical hit. Bad. The other thing that's of note is critical hits are based on, well, the frequency of critical hits are based on the base speed of the Pokemon using the attack. So Nidoran has a base speed of 50, and the way the formula works is the chance of getting, oh my god, the chance of getting a critical hit is the base speed of the Pokemon over 512. Oh my god! So 50 over 512 means that Nidoran has a crit chance of about 9.8%, which is a bit higher than the 1 in 16 that you might be used to from future games. When it gets to Nidoking, and its base speed is 85, its crit chance is 16.6, so it's 1 in 6. So if you see crits happening more than you might expect, it's actually possible that I'm just having terrible luck, but it's also possible that that's just how Gen 1 works. When you get to a really fast Pokemon like Dugtrio, which has a base speed of 120, its crit chance is 23.4%. It's quite high. If that was a level 4 Pidgey, I actually would have caught it. Level 6 is a bit risky, so I'm not going to take it. Level 4, level 4, level 4. Good. Alright. So if I hit this with Horn Attack, it will be a guaranteed catch with the Pokeball, as long as I don't crit it, which I didn't. Good. So normally I would do a manipulation for the Pidgey as well to catch it, but because I got one just in that little stretch there, I don't have to, which does save a little bit of time. Don't have to do the save and reset there. It can end up being slower, but generally it's good. So I'm just going to heal here because I don't want to heal in this fight. So this fight is a little bit... Oh, God. That's annoying. This trainer is a little bit interesting because he didn't exist in Red and Blue. And so in Red and Blue, pretty much every trainer, with very few exceptions, ends up having just the moveset of the Pokemon to that point from level up, which means pretty much every Metapod and Kakuna in the game only has Harden because they don't learn Tackle and String Shot by level up. They learn it as a Caterpie. But this guy was added in yellow, and so this Metapod actually does have Tackle, String Shot, and Harden, which is relevant because I really don't want to see Harden. Also would like this Caterpie to use Tackle. Okay, it failed String Shot. I really want to be faster than the Metapod as well, because it can still use Harden, which can be really annoying. So if I'm faster, I can at least make sure that I'm going to hit it before it uses Harden, because I want to use one Leer to drop its defense. Unless it does this. If it uses Harden now, that's going to be really annoying. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so a critical would be really nice here. I don't think that's going to happen. I've already used all my crit luck up. The reason this is really bad as well is not only that it's slow, and it's very slow. This tackle probably isn't going to kill, but my Horn Attack PP is very, very particular throughout a very long stretch at the start of the game here. And so I don't want to be using extra Horn Attack. So I had to use 3 there. I ordinarily only used 2, and it still took 5 hits. It's supposed to take 2 hits, so that was not a very good fight at all. But Horn Attack is one of the other reasons that Nidoran is really good for the early game. Horn Attack, it's a 65 power move, which compared to everything else, that's actually very, very good. There's a nice stretch there, not getting any encounters. But so this is the last fight that I have to do in Viridian Forest. And then just the one trainer in Brock's gym, and we'll get to level 12. But yeah, so another thing in this game, there's quite a number of little optimizations that you might not be aware of. And so there'll be one that will show up right after this fight, which is every time you enter a new area in this game, the first time you turn has what we call turn frames, which basically it just takes an extra bit of time to go to the next tile as you're turning. But you can mitigate this by opening the menu on the tile you would turn. And so I'm going to heal here, because I need to be at full health for the next fight. And so if I open the menu just before I turn, I will save those turn frames, which it's only 3 frames, but there's so many instances of stuff like this happening in the run that it ends up adding up to a lot throughout the run. Just like that. Okay. Another thing I kind of want to talk about now is red bar. So red bar is a very literal term based on where your HP bar is at when it goes red. That's called red bar. So the reason it's a relevant technique in speedrunning is when you're in red bar, there's this kind of panic sound that comes up. And because there's an extra sound going on, it can't actually, the game cannot play extra jingles. And it also skips over outgoing cries. So in red and blue, it actually skips over incoming cries as well. But it ends up being faster if you're in red bar for specific instances, which the reason I'm saying it now is I'm very likely to be in red bar after this fight. And after this fight is when I grow to level 12 and learn double kick. And so if that's the case, I actually save quite a few seconds not having to listen to the jingle. So like this one here takes quite a few seconds. So we'll see if it happens here. But it's a good thing to be aware of. For optimization for really top times, it's definitely something you want to be aware of. See, so I'm in red bar now. And you can hear that panic flashing. And I skip over the jingles. Very nice, very nice. Okay, heal up here for Brock. So Brock is a fight that can actually be pretty bad. The reason Brock can be bad is his Onyx outspeeds you, and his Onyx actually has a pretty annoying moveset. It has Bind, and so Bind in Gen 1 is a trap move, and if he just spams Bind, you'll never be able to attack, ever. Because you'll be trapped, and then you just can't attack, and it's bad. The other move that he has that's interesting is Bide. Bide is a little bit broken in this game, honestly, in that if he uses Bide and then I were to heal, it would actually reflect back damage from me healing back to me, so I've got to pay close attention to if/when he uses Bide. There it is. 20 health is a bit annoying. He can actually reflect back 20 health, so I'm going to use Lear one more time. So he could have been charging for one more turn there. But now that I got 3 Lears, he'll die to 2 double kicks. Screech is fine. As long as he doesn't use Bide on the next turn, this will be a good fight. Bind. Bide is good. Screech. Alright. Perfect. Very good. Okay, now, another thing I want to talk about here, which is very interesting, and as far as I'm concerned, actually got figured out from speedrunning, is badge boosts. So Brock here tells you, after giving you the Boulder Badge, that it increases your Pokemon's strength. Now, when I played this game, I replayed this game quite a number of times, and after getting the badge, I would always check my stats and be like, he is talking nonsense. My stats are exactly the same. I didn't increase anything. But it turns out he's actually telling the truth. After getting the Boulder Badge, my attack does increase by 9/8, or 1.125 times. Now that in itself is interesting, but what's more interesting is that badge boosts can actually get reapplied every single time you have a stat modification to something other than that stat. The badge boost gets reapplied. So what that means is that if this Caterpie hits me with String Shot and reduces my speed like that, my attack just got increased. Because it just gave me another 1.125 boost. Which is bizarre. And we figured it out from speedrunning this game, actually. In the very final fight, I noticed that if you got hit by Kinesis from the rival Alakazam, suddenly you would be faster than it, and it just made absolutely no sense whatsoever, but I was certain that was what it was, and then we figured it out that, yep, the badge boost is getting reapplied. But another thing that you need to be aware of is when you get a level up, like right there, it then resets the badge boost. So now I'm back to only the one that I have from the Boulder Badge. Don't have 3 anymore. So my attack, even though I just got a level up, actually just got reduced. And so in the instance of a fight like this, it's just something that you kind of need to be aware of, but for the routing for the entire run, it's actually very, very critical. And I'll point out at different stages, because it's more for the late game where it comes into effect. But if you didn't know that it was happening, you would be making very critical mistakes in the routing, and just, it would not be very optimal at all. So, okay, shorts guy. So this guy, quite infamous in both speedrunning and non-speedrunning. He's not so bad in yellow, but his Ekans has Wrap, which again is a trap move and can waste a lot of time. Can be very, very bad. It's also a damage range, whether it gets 2 hit or not. That's a poor roll, and there's Wrap. Luckily, Ekans isn't faster than us, so eventually this will wear off and then I can attack. It's just very, very poor time loss. Alright, got the range. All good. Okay, so another mechanic that I do want to talk about here is animations. So animations are off, so you would think they're not something that's actually relevant at all, but they still are. And the reason that's the case is, even with animations off, there's 2 different things that can happen when you use an attack that does damage. So the first is the opponent Pokemon can flash when you hit them, and so you'll see that now I'm going to use Horn Attack here, and you'll see Weedle flash. The other one is that the screen can shake, and the shaking is actually a good full second faster than the flash. So in an instance where I can kill with a move that will make the screen shake, I should always be doing that pretty much. So you'll see that here on this Caterpie, probably, I'll end up using Double Kick to kill it, even though Double Kick will have extra text. Because it's not very effective, it's actually faster to use it in that instance, just because the animation is faster. My Horn Attack PP is so low, this is really bad. I'm going to have 0 after this stretch, which isn't great. So, I'm going to get to level 16 here and evolve to Nidorino. Another reason why Nidoran is so good, it evolves very, very early. Not just to Nidorino, but to Nidoking as well. So I had 2 different trainers that I could afford here. This one is actually slower, but by fighting this trainer, I get more experience, which it's a little bit helpful to get Nidorino a little bit earlier, but it's mainly helpful so that I get level 21 earlier, which obviously isn't going to be for a while. That'll be at Nugget Bridge. But having that extra EXP makes fighting that trainer a lot worth it. Yeah, definitely worth it. Okay, I can double kick there. So there's a number of instances as well where I have to pay attention to what the first damage roll was to see where the HP bar was. So if I got a low roll on that Caterpie, double kick wouldn't have killed, and I should have used tackle, but because I got a high roll, I could switch to using double kick. So paying attention to everything that's happening is quite important for optimization. But just getting through the game kind of fast, it doesn't really matter, you can just do whatever. If you just follow the route, pick Nidoking and storm the game, you'll go pretty fast. Unlucky getting an encounter there. So, after this we've got Mount Moon. So Mount Moon, I'm going to do another Manip, which is much longer and much more difficult than the Nidoran one that you saw. So, first I'm going to deposit Pikachu. The reason I'm going to do that is Pikachu introduces extra cutscenes into the game, and this is why Pikachu is so trash. And I don't want to watch the cutscenes, so I'm going to just get rid of him. But so the Mount Moon Manip. So I have to follow, I'm not going to get any encounters in here, but I have to follow an extremely particular path. And I also have to do some inputs when I'm in Mount Moon. So if you press A, it lags the game a bit as you're looking for a hidden item. And in this Mount Moon stretch, I have to, on 45 particular tiles, press the A button. And I also have to do 2 start flashes. And again, even if I do everything correctly here, it's a chance to fail. This one has, I think, 94% chance to work. If I do everything correctly. But luckily with this one, if I don't do everything correctly, it doesn't matter quite as much. Okay, so I didn't quite get it, but I got far enough that the manip was worth going for, because I got a long way through Mount Moon without getting an encounter. So I also picked up, obviously, a couple of items that you saw there. So the rare candy is going to be helpful to get to level 23 earlier. The Moonstone is obviously to evolve, and the other item that I got there was the TM for Mega Punch. So Mega Punch is probably not worth doing in this run, but I've got it anyway because I have not learnt the route that doesn't get Mega Punch. So Mega Punch it's obviously a more powerful move at this stage. It's 80 power, but it's only 85 accuracy, so it can miss. So it's a little bit riskier. But I was always doing... I hadn't run this game for 6 years. I only came back to it just a couple of days ago. And I was doing runs with Mega Punch. So I would have had to learn a completely different manip path through Mount Moon, and I just couldn't be bothered doing that. So we're getting Mega Punch. With a lot of the stone evolutions in Pokemon, it's they kind of whatever. They try to make you not evolve because the previous Pokemon learns more moves. But when you evolve with a stone, you stop learning moves. And that's kind of the same with Nidoking. It does learn one move, but that's actually good because I don't want to be learning garbage moves. So I'll use the Moonstone straight away and we'll evolve to Nidoking. I'll also teach Mega Punch here as well, because I have no Horn Attack PP. So I definitely need Mega Punch. So as you can imagine, Nidoking at this stage of the game is an absolute monster stat-wise, just compared to everything else that's going around. Having a stage 3 evolution at this stage, very, very good. Yep, go for it.
We've got a $5.11 donation from Jeff Ottenbridge. I hope I got that name right. It says, pour one out for the homies in the poker struggle.
Ooh, this could be bad. Don't do Mega Punch. It did Mega Punch! Oh no. That's very unlucky. Okay, so I guess I'm just going to use Double Kick on this Voltorb. And hopefully Mega Punch gets re-enabled by the time Coughing comes out. Nope. Very, very bad luck. What can you do? And I have 0 Horn Attacks. Usually I do have a couple left over at this stage, but because some of the early fights went so bad, I actually have 0. Luckily, this Coughing can't really do much damage. Oh my god, Mega Punch is still disabled. This is quite ridiculous. It is still disabled. This is... Okay, good. I got a critical. Alright, cool. Okay, small bit of trivia here, I guess. These 4 tiles here, so the 2 that have the fossil, as well as the 2 above them, actually do not generate encounters. So it's actually a little bit better to take an extra step there before turning, just so there's 1 less tile that I'm possible to get an encounter. But if you just did circles there forever, you'd never get an encounter. And so this is another thing that they added from Yellow, is they added Jesse and James into the game. And so they show up a number of times throughout the run, but they actually reduce the amount of trainers. Oh no, is this... Yeah, no, they do reduce the amount of fights that you do because they show up. Because they take away 3 trainers in Lavender Tower. Okay, so that's another one. So if I got a high roll there, I could have used Double Kick. I didn't, so we'll go Tackle. It's good getting Leer though. Don't have to deal with Wrap. Okay, and that should kill. And now we're done with the Mount Moon segment. So my health here is actually really important that I keep track of. Because coming up next is going to be Rival 2. So Rival 2 is, in every single Pokemon run, really an infamous fight. Because Rival 2 tends to be kind of where the difficulty peaks, in that when you're using a solo Pokemon, Rival 2 just ends up being where they've got quite a number of Pokemon and they're about the same level as you and they can pretty much always do something really bad. So the thing that this rival fight can do that's really bad is kill me. Who would have thought? The thing that would be really bad, the thing that's really bad about this in this particular run is if Rival 2 kills me, I'm going to go all the way back to Pallet Town. And I'm going to have to go all the way through Viridian Forest and all the way through Mount Moon again. And that's going to be terrible. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But he's got 4 Pokemon and all of them can do things that are bad. And given I have no Horn attacks, it's going to be even more risky because I'm going to be using Mega Punch. So he leads with Spearow. Spearow has Growl, which I really don't want my attack to go down. So I want him... I guess I want him to use Leer? I think that's probably the best thing. But then the Sandshrew has Sand Attack as well. And Sand Attack, obviously lowering the accuracy. Things can go completely pear-shaped from there. So okay, I hit the Mega Punch. That's good. That is not good. That is very, very not good. Okay. Again, at this stage, a critical would be really nice because a critical gets rid of the attack drop. It begins. Here we go. Oh, dear. Okay, so accuracy in Gen 1 as well is the worst in that as soon as you get hit from Sand Attack, it's actually way more impactful than it is in other games. Is that 4 now that he's hit me with? Jesus. Ooh. Okay, I'm actually going to heal because this is way too risky right now. But this is Pokemon speedrunning in a nutshell. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Is that all 6 now? Jesus. Okay, I can't take this anymore. I can't take this anymore. I'm switching. No, switching resets the counter, so that my accuracy will come back when I switch back in. So okay, I'll just let the Pidgey die. That's fine. My accuracy will come back. And now I can just kill with double kick. Now I critical. Perfect. Perfect. Ugh. Okay, even with that quick attack, I should still have enough health. The Eevee that's last is a damage range. So damage ranges, I should explain as well. So there's a variable amount of damage that you can do with each attack. That's not going to kill. So there's a range between... what is it? 216 to 255 that it picks, and you do that amount of damage. So it's basically, after doing the damage calculation, you can end up doing between about 85% and 100% of the damage that you're supposed to do. And so getting a high roll ends up making a big difference in a lot of instances, like against that Eevee. But okay, so now Nugget Bridge. So Nugget Bridge isn't that bad, except I'm a bit concerned because I have no Horn attacks and I missed a Mega Punch there that I might end up running out of attacks, which would be a bit of a concern. The other thing that it's a bit risky because, again, if I die, I'm going to go back to Pallet Town, so I definitely don't want to die. Unfortunately, my health is just above red bar. If I was at, like, 1 health, that might be a bit too low and that's a bit risky. But if I was at, say, 10, that would be ideal because I would be in red bar, so I'd be skipping level up jingles and outgoing cries. Being at low yellow is probably the worst amount of health you can be at, which has kind of been a very typical theme of this run so far. That everything goes bad. So the reason you do want a little bit of health is because Pokemon like this Pidgey have quick attack, so that's why being at 1 health would not be ideal. At least I'm in red bar now. This is another damage range on the Nidoran. Okay, good. Okay, and after the very next fight, I'll get to level 21. and then I'll be able to use both the rare candies that I got to level 23. And so the reason level 23 is really important is A, I need to get to level 25 before Misty, and that'll end up getting me to level 25. But level 23 specifically is important because that's when Nidoking learns its one and only move, which is Thrash. And Thrash, while it's not a great competitive move or anything, for a speedrun it's actually really good, especially for this early in the game. Again, a 90 power move at this stage of the game is very good. The other reason Thrash is very good is it's a continuous move. So as soon as I use Thrash, I don't actually have to keep using Thrash. It'll just automatically do it itself, which it can be bad in some scenarios, in that you want to use something else, but most of the time when you use Thrash, especially in this early part of the run, you want to keep using Thrash, and so it ends up saving time to just have Thrash automatically use itself. So here we go, get rid of Mega Punch. And off we go. So, these fights, not really that risky now that I've got Thrash. Now I can just Thrash everything, and we're all good. Leveled up out of Red Bar, unfortunately, because I used those candies. The one thing that you do have to pay attention to at this point of the run is whether this is the first point where whether you won the first rival fight or not matters. Because if you lost and you have Vaporeon, you actually have to fight a different trainer to get more experience, because you would get less experience in later rival fights. You would also have to keep Mega Punch to do that fight, so if you taught over Mega Punch there, you would be in a bit of strife. But I definitely won, so we're on Flareon, so it's all good. Okay, last trainer of Nugget Bridge here. This guy, he's nice in that he gives me a nugget. He's not so nice in that he's part of an evil organization. But the nugget is a little bit useful because you can sell it for money, and a decent amount of money, and you need a lot of money in this run. Money's very, it's right down to the dollar, how the money works. So without that 5k, you would be in quite a bit of trouble. But okay, so here's one of the additions that they put into Yellow that's actually useful, in that they allowed you to get all the starters in this game. So Squirtle, Charmander, and Bulbasaur. And so I'm just going to talk to this guy, and he's just going to give me his Charmander, which is fantastic. And so I'm going to use the Charmander for a couple of the field moves. So it's going to end up getting Cut and Dig. And it's just way faster to just get the Pokemon for free than having to actually catch something to use those moves. And so this is the trainer that I was talking about before. I'm allowed to fight this trainer because I'm on Flareon. I would have to fight the top hiker if I was on Vaporeon. And this guy's faster because he's only got one Pokemon. So I'd much rather fight this guy. Does still take 2 hits because Onix just has Gargantuan defense. And again has Bind. Do not want to see Bind. Good. Into Red Bar, and then I'll level up straight out of Red Bar. Unfortunate. But these next 3 fights are just going to be stomping through with Thrash. There's really not much to say at this point. It is just Nidoking stomping through little puny trainers. Yeah, like, if there's any questions for anyone here, just shout them out and I'll answer, because like I said, there's absolutely nothing to say here. Or if they're in chat, you can just give them to me. I already explained red bar. Ask a better question. I'll explain it again. So red bar is, you see my HP there. Good luck. So I'm in red bar now. This Pidgey used quick attack and hit me into red bar. So it's literally what the HP bar, the color of it is. When it's red, so when my health is low enough that it goes red, I'm in a state called red bar. And because of the panic jingle that comes up, it makes it so that it skips over jingles like leveling up and learning moves, but also when Pokemon are defeated, they have a tiny little outgoing cry. It also skips over those. It's not quite as useful in yellow as it is in red and blue. In red and blue, it skips over incoming cries, and you can manipulate your health to always be in red bar at specific points in red and blue. In yellow, it's more just kind of come as it is, hope it happens. If it doesn't, oh well, that's a shame. So this is the first point in the run where if I had Pikachu with me, Pikachu would do dumb cutscenes with Bill, and he would be so shocked at what's going on. And that's slow, which is why I got rid of Pikachu. Bad. But now that I've done all of that, I can go do Misty. So I could have done Misty as soon as I got to Cerulean City, but Misty would have destroyed me, basically, if I went there straight away. So the reason those two rare candies I was talking about before are so important is I am going to have 57 speed when I get to Misty Starmie, and Misty Starmie has 56 speed. So I just beat it. And if I didn't, she would have a very, very high chance of just terminating me. So Misty she's the first kind of relevant trainer in the game that has good AI, which good AI is not actually good. It just basically means that if she has a move that she thinks is super effective, she will use it over moves that aren't super effective. Now, this can introduce scenarios where you get things like Dragonairs just spamming agility because they think Psychic is super effective on like a Weedle and they just never kill you. So it's not actually good. But in this case, it's bad because it means that Misty's going to use her Water-type moves on me and will never use Tackle or Harden. She can still use an X-Defend because that's an item, but X-Defend is also not great because I'm hitting her with physical moves, so it'll take an extra turn. So Misty, it is one of the fights where you can die. She can, like her special move, that's a nice critical, that wouldn't have died, is Bubble Beam. And Bubble Beam can drop your speed, so if she uses Bubble Beam and gets the speed drop, then she can still kill me. But I'm not going to save here or anything because I just took the heal, and so if I die now, I will just go back to Cerulean City. So then I can just go back to Misty, and it's not really too much of a big deal at this stage. I will lose a lot of money if it happens, so I still really don't want it to happen, but it'll be workable if it happens, so Thrash as well, it confuses you after 3 or 4 turns. It's usually 2 or 3, and when I say usually, I mean in games that aren't Gen 1. But the first turn doesn't count to the counter, that's 2 or 3. That's a nice critical, even if she uses an X-Defend, I'll kill. No Bubble Beam, Water Gun, this is fine. Easy game, easy life. The other reason Misty can be really bad is Starmie, again, is a very fast Pokemon, so it has a very high chance of critting you. And so if it, like, crit speed drops with Bubble Beam, you just lose straight away. But okay, that's Misty done, and she gives me the TM for Bubble Beam. So the other reason that Nidoking is such an absolute emperor of this game is that Nidoking's move pool is stacked. It can learn pretty much every move that would be relevant, even though there's no reason that it should. What's silly, though, is that the only move that it can't learn that would be good is the next move that I'm about to get, which is Dig. Even though it's a ground-type Pokemon, it can't learn Dig, but it can learn everything else. Doesn't make a huge amount of sense, but that's Gen 1. Dig in this game would be really nice because it's actually a 100 power move, and given it would have same type attack bonus because Nidoking is a ground type, it would be very, very powerful. But it's still head and shoulders above everything else, so we'll make do with what we've got. As I mentioned before, I am still going to teach Dig to Charmander because Dig will allow me to dig out of buildings and such. And so instead of having to buy escape ropes, it's just going to be better to teach Dig to the Charmander and use that where it's relevant. So, okay, kind of similar to Red Bar, you're going to see something here that, well, if you're not paying attention, you probably won't see it, which is a Jingle Skip. So I'm going to pick up a hidden full restore in this little underground area here. And usually when you pick up a hidden item, it has a jingle. But I'm going to do it fast enough while the music is transitioning that the jingle is just not going to play. Like that. And so it's kind of a similar thing to Red Bar in that there's other music playing and it can't get it up in time. If you just let it sit there, eventually it would play. That's good. Oh, really cool. There's just a tiny little bit of grass that I have to walk through here before I can buy repels. Another Pidgey. Fantastic. Okay, so just two more little cronies here. If I had low health, these guys could be a bit of an issue, but I don't. My health's quite high because my Misty fight was good. But just a number of quick attack users here. The only thing that I really have to worry about is, oh, I was just about to say getting a Gen 1 miss, and then it happened. Unbelievable. So, a Gen 1 miss, which you just saw, is a 1 in 256 chance for a move to miss, and now I'm getting pummeled by sand attacks. This is awesome. Awesome. Even though it has 100% accuracy, moves in this game can still miss, and it's a very simple equals error. So basically the game picks, oh my god, I'm gonna switch. Wait, are my dudes alive? Yeah, alright, cool. The game picks a number between 0 and 255, and if it's equal to 255, it's just like, oh, no, that's a miss, even though it shouldn't be. This is ridiculous. I had so much health. That's actually quite extraordinary that I missed right as I was about to say it. Oh my god, if that crits, I think I'm dead. Okay, cool. Oh. Well, I did tell everyone this run was going to be a train wreck, and I've been very much proven right. I am going to heal now. Oh, jeez. Use the potion, please. Yeah, so I got the 1 in 256 miss, and then I got sand attacked, and then everything just went quite pear-shaped there. And it's one of the instances where obviously getting confused by Thrash wasn't great. He's only got 3 Pokemon, so as long as I just had hit them, there was no chance of that happening. I'm a little concerned about my health overall now, because I don't really have enough potions to heal to the kind of health that I wanted. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll have to figure something out as I go along. But so now I can finally buy repels at the mart, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. We'll buy 3 of them. So that's just going to be for Rock Tunnel. I obviously could buy more, I have so much money, but I need all that money for when I get to the Celadon Mart. And I'll buy super repels when I'm there, because they last for longer, so I don't have to use them quite as much. So yeah, as I mentioned, Nidoking's move pool is stacked. It can learn Bubble Beam. And I'm just going to teach that now, because the rival that I'm about to fight has a Sandshrew. Bubble Beam's going to be useful for that. So again, here, similarly to what you saw when I was in Oak's lab and I took extra steps so that the rival took less, I'm going to do the same thing here. In that instead of walking straight up to what would be a straight line to the stairs, I'm actually going to walk wide and go over here because the rival comes out of the stairs. And so again, the camera's going to be scrolled further to the right. The rival also doesn't have to walk around me this way. So it's just much, much quicker. Okay, so this fight should be fine. Yeah, I only have 2 potions left, but I want to keep one of the Actually, do I? Maybe I could use them both. Generally, you want to keep one of the potions because you want to have it in your item inventory. You don't necessarily actually want to use the potion, but you just want it there to be taking up space. But on this route, I actually think I could get rid of it. I'm not going to, though, because it's going to mess with my head if I do that. But yeah, so that fight's not too bad. Now that I've got all the moves. The fight that I'm worried about is Surge. And so you might think, you know, you've got a ground type, surely Surge isn't that much of a concern. And he can be very, very easy. Surge apparently does not have good AI because he can just use electric moves on you. A bit weird. But he also can use... He's only got one Pokemon and it's a Raichu, but it can use both Mega Kick and Mega Punch, which actually do a pretty significant amount of damage. And Raichu is also faster than me, so it is going to get a couple of hits off. Actually, no, I'm going to use both the potions because I really, really don't want to die. So I'm going to make up this route on the fly from here because it's really, really going to change my items. But I think I have an idea that should work. But before that, I'm going to go get the bike voucher. Bike, not strictly necessary in this game, but it makes movement much quicker, so it is worth getting. Duck in here. And so before I get to Surge, I am going to do a little menu to obviously heal and teach Charmander both Cut and Dig as well. And then after that, we've got trash cans. So trash cans are, pardon the pun, but they are garbage. They are complete garbage. Dig. Yep. I'm also just going to switch repels to the top. So, trash cans, you would, like, not every trash can be the first trash can. Oh, I didn't heal. I was supposed to heal. That's right. Where are they? Yep. Actually, no, that was faster. I did that on purpose. I knew what I was doing. So... only, what is it, 12 of the first... No, 12. What am I talking about? 7 of the 15 trash cans can be the first one. So you'll see me skipping over some of them because I know it can't be that one. Alright, so here we go. And I'm going over here, which looks bizarre, but there it is. There's the second trash can over in the top left. So you might think that it's supposed to be adjacent to the first one, which it's kind of supposed to be, I guess, but it isn't. It's actually more likely for some of the trash cans to go over to the top left. Some of them will generate 2 trash cans as well. That's actually the second one. Sometimes it will generate 0 trash cans, and you were just always wrong. The trash cans suck. They are terrible. But okay, here we go, Surge. So, Growl fail, that's really good. Hopefully I can still 2-hit. Thunderbolt, fantastic. Did not get the 2-hit. Thunderbolt again. Jeez, what was I worried about? Easy fight. Easy. Like I said, it had both Mega Kick and Mega Punch, but just did not use it because apparently Surge is an idiot. So, okay, he gives me the TM for Thunderbolt, which again, very good move. And again, Nidoking's move pool is stacked, so of course it can learn Thunderbolt. And it will. Because Thunderbolt's a very good move. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go all the way over here to Diglett's Cave, which I don't actually care about Diglett's Cave, but Dig in this game, instead of taking you to the entrance of buildings that you've been to, it takes you back to the last place that you healed. And because the last place that I healed was in Cerulean City, I'm going to go back to Cerulean City, and so that saves me a little bit of movement. So just using it as a hub to warp to there. And then we'll pick up the bike, and off we go. Hello? Talk to him, please. Okay, so coming up next is what should be the only trainer where you can potentially see me get confused by Thrash, but that's already happened, so that's not the case. So this trainer has 4 Pokemon, and so like I said before, you can get confused from Thrash after 3 or 4 turns, so there's a 50-50 chance that I'll just Thrash and take them all out, but I can also get confused on the last one. The reason it's really bad here is because this trainer has Oddishes and Bellsprouts, and grass types in general have very bad moves, in that they generally have moves that can status you. And this trainer is no exception. So I don't want to see, you know, Sleep Powder, Stun Spore, and then its attacking move is Wrap, which is also a pain in the ass. So everything is bad. So I just want to get through. Did not. Confused. Alright, good. I got through, so it's fine. All good. Yeah, it's a good time.
We've got a $4.20 donation from Smelly Charmander saying, "Did you know the move Blaze increases fire damage by 50%?
The ability does. I don't know about the move Blaze, but yeah. Obviously Gen 1 ability's not in this game. That's kind of like Red Bar. The abilities for the starters, so Blaze, Torrent, and Overgrow, are generally the risk-reward factor for when abilities got introduced Gen 3 onwards. But in Gen 1, that's taken by Red Bar, which you need to be even lower than you would be to activate those abilities to get it to work. So okay, moving into Rock Tunnel. So that's Rock Tunnel is what I bought those repels for from earlier. So obviously, you're supposed to get Flash for Rock Tunnel, but I don't know about that, because even when I played this game as like a 6-year-old kid, I never got Flash. It was way too far out of the way. It's not too bad because you can still see the walls, so it's not too hard to navigate where you're going. And it's actually faster to do it without Flash, even if it just got flashed up straight away. The reason that's the case is after you do a fight, there's usually a tiny little flash that comes up on the screen. But because Rock Tunnel is dark, that doesn't happen. So after you fight a trainer, you can actually move faster. You don't have to wait for that little flash to come up. It does make movement something that you have to focus on a little bit more, though. So like these Slowpokes here, this is kind of where, it's not where it starts, but if I'd gotten a bad Nidoran when I was doing the manipulation, it would have had bad special. All its other stats would have been fine, but special would have been bad. And without really good special, Thunderbolt against like that Slowpoke is not guaranteed to kill. So it's very important that you have good special. And so this trainer here is another quite infamous one in the run. Again, grass types. This time, instead of having 4 Pokemon, it's just that the Oddish is bulky enough that it doesn't always die. I think it's 55% to get one hit, but again, it's just got Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, it's garbage. So I really want it to die. Of course it doesn't, and of course Stun Spore. That is... very, very few things have gone correct in this run. This has been quite astonishing. But so this is one of the main reasons I picked up the full restore from before. Oh my god. That's not going to kill now, because I got hit by Growl. Please get through. Alright. So I picked up the full restore, because if I was just paralyzed here for the rest of Rock Tunnel, that would just be awful. But so I'm going to use the full restore, not to get health back, but to get rid of the paralysis. Not having the full restore could potentially be disastrous for later, but hopefully that's not the case. So we'll use it here. So another thing that I did there was I used a repel even though the repel was already active, which you might think is a bit weird. But the reason that's done is so you avoid the text. When a repel wears off, it says the repel is worn off. But so using another repel before that one wears off just takes the counter back to 100 steps. And because Rock Tunnel, it's something like 215 steps that you need to go through. It ends up being faster to just use the repels over each other. You'll see that throughout the run when I use the super repels as well. Other games don't allow you to do that. It'll just say, nah, you've still got a repel, so you can't do it. But in Gen 1, you can. So it's good, good, good. Okay, last trainer of Rock Tunnel here. And this one, pretty easy. And just another Thrasher. And I've got so much health at this stage because I used the full restore, which I don't need this much health. I would be fine if I was at like 25 health for the next little segment, so I'm no chance of dying. I shouldn't tempt the game by saying stuff like that, but I will. So this is where I'm going to introduce the route that I'm coming up with on the fly because I don't have any potions. I don't have full restore either, but I'm going to pick one of those up later and hopefully just not use that one. So I'm going to get the max ether here. Ordinarily, I would skip that. But that's going to give me an extra item in my inventory. So max ether is a PP restoring item. Usually I pick up lots and lots of elixirs. But I'm going to skip one of the elixirs and have that max ether, which should have one extra item in my inventory. And so it should work out fine. So that now that I'm done with Rock Tunnel, the game opens up like a lot. The game is very open at this stage. You've got a lot of options of places that you can go, items you can get, things you can do. It's very, very open. Even like this trainer, I could have fought the trainer above, but this one's easier to take out. Oh dear. I just realized I can't hear the game and I usually use an audio cue at this stage. I could turn the TV up, but that's way too much effort. So I'm just going to wing this. So I'm going to pick up a couple more hidden items in the underground here. I only just learned the audio cue for this like yesterday and completely pointless apparently. About there? There we go. And about there. Alright, there we go. And so now I'm going to go to the mart. The big mart that you can buy lots of things from. And I'm going to buy lots and lots of things at the mart. So this is where... So Nidoking's kind of been stomping the game up at this stage. Well, maybe not this Nidoking, but generally it does. But this is where it really comes into its own. And it's because of what I'm going to get. Oh no, it's 2 down. 2 down. 2 down. Sell the nugget and bide. Because of this TM right here. TM07 is Horn Drill. Oh, I'm Flareon. How many do I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's right. So Horn Drill in case you don't know, is a one-hit kill move, but it has very poor accuracy. Luckily, in this game, that can be mitigated by X items. So X items are items that can increase your stats by 1 stage. So if you use an X attack, your attack goes to 1.5 times what it ordinarily was. And so that in itself is useful, but accuracy isn't a stat. So if you use an X accuracy, it's not raising your accuracy by 1.5 times. So what they did instead was, if you use an X accuracy, it completely skips, oh dear, say yes, give her a drink. I'm so mean. It completely skips the accuracy check. And so after using an X accuracy, you cannot miss no matter what move you're using. And so if you use an X accuracy, Horn Drill, a move that one hit kills, always hits, no matter what. Very, very, very powerful. Though I say no matter what, that's actually not true. Because one hit kill moves only work if you are as fast as the opponent, or faster. If you're slower, they do not work. I think I need 4. Yeah, that's right. And then 9. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. As you can see, I've got very little money left after doing all of that. So it's not going to be used for all of the fights from this point onwards, but as you saw, I bought more accuracies than anything else there, so it is going to be used quite a lot. Though I did buy extra items there in case I do die, so that won't be catastrophic if it happens. Okay, just gonna duck in here and get Fly. Fly, again, not strictly necessary, but is fast, so I can just navigate around the map quicker. And then a little menu here. 7 super. Oh, what's on it? So before I moved double kick to be slot 1, that's just because I'm going to teach over that move a lot. So when I teach over moves like that, I don't have to scroll down all the way to the bottom. Teach Horn Drill as well. And teach Fly. Okay, and so now I can go back to Lavender Tower. So this is the first rival fight where he changes his team. So he still has Eevee at this stage, but because he's going to get Flareon, he will have Shelter instead of having Vulpix. Yeah, and Shelter gives more experience than Vulpix, so good. The other, pretty much the only demerit that Horn Drill has is that it only has 5 PP. So that's why I have to get so many PP restoring items throughout the run. But this fight goes exactly how you might expect after the explanation that I just gave. I use an X accuracy, and then I destroy everything with Horn Drill. There is absolutely nothing else that's going on here. It's just spam Horn Drill, everything dies. It's great. Unfortunately, right after this, we come up against Ghost types, which Horn Drill doesn't work on. And the Ghost types are the entire reason that I got Rock Slide, which might sound a bit weird given Rock is not good against Ghost. It's neutral, but the Ghost types, all the Ghastlies, have very, very high special. Gen 1 only has special, does not have special attack and special defense. So because they have high special, if I'm hitting them with Thunderbolt, it's not going to kill them. But if I hit them with Rock Slide, even though it's a lower power move, it does kill them. And the Ghastlies have very bad moves, so I want them to die in one hit. You can take an extraordinary risk and not get Rock Slide and just hope they don't use bad moves, because they have Confuse Ray. Obviously being confused is bad. They also have Lick, which has a pretty decent chance of paralyzing you as well. And I don't have a full restore, so that would just be good night, sweet dreams, basically. The unfortunate thing about Rock Slide, though, is that it only has 90 accuracy, so it can miss still. And I've got to take out 4 of these Ghastlies with it. Okay, at least it didn't paralyze. I was going to say, and knowing how this run's going, Rock Slide will definitely miss. But I was like, no, I won't tempt the game, and it still did it anyway. So, there's just no pleasing it today. Not at all. But okay, so in between the fights here in Lavender Tower, there are... I'm going to pick up this elixir. I'm going to skip the second elixir in here, because I got the max ether. But there are 4 beautiful tiles that just instantly heal you for free. It's not too relevant in this run because I have pretty much max health. But it is going to give me back my Horn Drill PP, which is good. So, still relevant. Okay, 2 more Ghastlies here. I've already had my Rock Slide miss, so surely I won't get another one. Nah, it'll be fine. See, there we go. Easy, easy, easy. Useless critical. So criticals, when you don't need them, actually do waste a little bit of time, because it is extra text. It's saying, oh, it's a critical hit. More just a minor inconvenience. There's nothing you can do about it. I suppose technically you could use a dire hit, because in this game, if you increase your critical hit chance, you actually decrease your critical hit chance. So using a dire hit or focus energy makes you 4 times less likely to get a critical. Yeah, Gen 1's very good. Forced to pick up that rare candy, but I would anyway, because rare candies are good. And then into here, into the ghost. So there's 2 ways you can get past this ghost. You can use the Sylph Scope to identify that it's a Marowak, or you can give it a Pokédoll, because it's just lonely. So we give it the Pokédoll, and then it goes home. All good. And so this is the point before that I was talking about where there are less trainers. In Red and Blue, there's actually 3 trainers that you have to fight here. But in Yellow, they put in Jesse and James, and you only have to fight Jesse and James. And so this part's actually a bit quicker. But now we go back to the very good strat of using the X accuracy, and then using Horn Drill. Very, very good. Very effective. I promise you there are fights where this doesn't happen. Not every fight is like this, but at this stage, I'm faster than everything, and I don't have any moves that would really take out, Weezing or Arbok really quickly, outside of just using Horn Drill. But I will get Earthquake quite soon, which is able to do that against quite a number of things. Okay, so the reason we came up here is to get the Poké Flute. I'm not going to use the Poké Flute straight away after I get it, but getting the Poké Flute sets the flag to allow you into Silphco in Saffron, and that's where I'm going to go. Because, like I just mentioned, that's where Earthquake is, and Earthquake is a very good move. Having the Poké Flute is useful though, because it wakes you up if you're put to sleep as well. So I don't have to worry about that happening now. So I'm also going to heal here. Again, I just got the heal from the 4 tiles in Lavender Town, so this seems a bit weird that I would do it here. It does help with giving me my Horn Drill PP back, but it would be faster to just get an elixir and use that. But the reason I'm healing here is because I want this to be the place that I teleport to when I dig out of places. Because Celadon's a really nice hub because it's right next to Saffron when I go right, it's right next to Cycling Road when I go left. So it ends up being a really important hub for when I dig back, and so it ends up being faster to just heal there instead of always flying back to Celadon. Give this guy the fresh water, and then off to Silphco. So faster to take the elevator up here because I'm going to go all the way up to floor 10. To get myself Earthquake. And there is one trainer in here, though, that I do have to fight to get past him. This trainer only has one Pokemon, though. It's a Machoke. And so you would think, surely he's only got one Pokemon. Surely it's not worth using an X accuracy to use Horn Drill. That would be incorrect. I'm going to use an X accuracy to use Horn Drill to take out this one Pokemon. Because I can't two-hit it with any of my moves. Leer is good. Failing is even better. So when you see a move like Leer or Growl or String Shot failing, that's another quirk. It's in Gen 2 as well. But basically when the AI uses moves that, lower stats, that are status moves, basically, they actually have a chance of failing, basically, instead of having the 100% accuracy when you use them that they're supposed to have. I think it's a 1 in 4 chance that they don't work, but it's faster if they don't work, so very good. So what do I want to do here? I want to teach Earthquake, and... oh, no. This one, please. Use the cut boss. So that's it for Rock Slide. It was just for those Ghastlies. So Carboss increases your speed, and I'm going to get 2 Carbos in this run that are both going to be really relevant. So that one is going to be relevant for Sylph Rival, so it's going to be coming up really soon, so that I can outspeed his Pokemon. So a Carboss, at this stage, it actually increases your speed by about 2, so it changes it from it would be a speed tie to you outspeed. And that ends up being really relevant, because the Pokemon that I'm outspeeding is a Kadabra, and Kadabra with Psychic moves does a lot of damage to Nidoking, so very, very relevant. I'm also going to use both the rare candies in a second. Get this card key. The unfortunate thing about changing my items like this is I'm going to have the right amount of items, but they're going to be in the wrong position. Because I swapped my max ether, and now I'm going to swap my elixir all the way down to the bottom, which is not great. Max speed, 1, 2, 3. Hello? Okay, now coming up Sylph Rival. So this is it. Again, like, the game's quite open at this stage, and I'm not really, like, the intended route, I guess, is not quite... I'm not quite following that. So this is later than what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, this is supposed to be right before the 6th badge, and I've only got 3 at this stage. So the level of this guy is pretty high compared to where I am. So his first Pokemon's 38, and I'm only 36, and that's after using rare candies and such. But because I use those candies and the Carboss, I am going to outspeed all his Pokemon. And so, as I mentioned before, if you outspeed, X accuracy, Horn Drill always hits. Off we go. The good thing about X accuracy as well is because it skips the accuracy check entirely, the Gen 1 miss that you saw before, where you have a 1 in 256 chance of missing, does not exist because it just skips it entirely. So there's no chance that anything can go wrong as long as you press the right buttons. So I don't have enough Horn Drill PP to use it on all of them, so I'm just going to Earthquake the Kadabra because it dies anyway. And we're good. Again here, I moved up so the rival doesn't have to walk around me. Very common theme, where you just make sure the rival's taking as little steps as possible. So I'm going to pick up the Lapras here for free as well. Lapras is going to get both Surf and Strength for field moves. I could have picked up the Squirtle in Vermilion City, but the Lapras is better because Lapras only knows 2 moves, whereas Squirtle knows 3. So when I'm teaching Surf and Strength, I don't have to teach over a move, which is quite a few extra seconds of text. So Lapras ends up winning out. And here's Jesse and James again. This time, not quite so bad, because now I have Earthquake, and with their pitiful Meowth and Poison types, Earthquake gets the job done here. And I have no Horn Drill PP, so I don't want to use any more Horn Drills. I would have to use an Elixir or something, which I don't want to do. Okay, so the Machoke and the rival fight actually went well, in that they both get a turn when I'm using the X accuracy, but they did pretty little damage. The Sand Slash knows Slash, which Slash in this game has a high critical hit chance, and high critical hit chance in this game multiplies it by 8 times. And so because of what I said before, it being based on base speed and that giving you higher crit chance, when a Pokemon like Sand Slash is using Slash, it always criticals. It's 100% chance to happen. So it does quite a significant amount of damage. Being in high health is very good because I don't want to have to heal, especially given I've already used my full restore. Giovanni can be a bit of a dicey fight. Again, I'm not going to use an X accuracy and Horn Drill. This time I'm going to use an X attack. There. Okay, Fury Attack missed. That's good. No damage. The reason I'm not using Horn Drill in this fight, again, besides having no PP, is the Persian is actually going to outspeed me, so Horn Drill wouldn't work on it. The Persian still has Growl, which is bad. Screech is really good. That does no damage, and obviously doesn't reduce my attacks. So now this fight's fine. I'm just going to sweep through with Earthquake. So that's really good. And having over 100 health at this stage, very, very good. So this is probably the first segment of the run that I'm actually happy with, and it's gone the way it's supposed to. But okay, that's Sylph done. I could go talk to the old man and he could give me a Master Ball, but I don't need a Master Ball because I already have the best Pokemon in the game, which is Nidoking. So I'll just dig out of here. And now we'll use the Poké Flute and go off to Cycling Road. So now I do have to use an Elixir. I don't have to heal, so it's just Elixir and Poké Flute. Where is Elixir? Oh, that's right. It got moved all the way down. Okay. I have no idea where Poké Flute is. There we go. So just to wake up the Snorlax, obviously, and then I can get past and go into Cycling Road. So I've mentioned a few times about my items and keeping track of how many I have. The reason that's really relevant is you can only have 20 items in your inventory. If you have 20 items and you try and get another one, you can't pick it up. It doesn't let you. And if someone's trying to give you an item and you have 20, they just say, you don't have room for this, come back later. And so after Safari Zone here, which is where I'm going, I need to have exactly 20 items. If I have too many, obviously, I can't pick up the items that I need in Safari Zone. And if I have too few, then I end up getting items that I don't want, which I will explain later when that is relevant. But off we go to Safari Zone. One thing I guess I should explain here is a technique that's called, it's specifically called Fast Bike, but it's really just any instance of reapplying. So when I put on the bike, I'm actually pressing the B button. And so the B button is normally supposed to take you out of menus. It's supposed to cancel out. But if you're holding A and then you press B, it counts. It basically thinks it's another A press. And so by pressing A and then B really quickly, you can use things in the first menu really, really fast. And so that's used to put on the bike. It's also used to throw Pokeballs very quickly as well. So usually I would use a Super Repel here for those 3 tiles. I'm not going to because the money route's really tight for what I'm doing here. And so I didn't have enough money for another Super Repel, but I'm going to use one here. Yes, that's still fine. And then I'm going to pick up the Full Restore here. I'm actually not super confident that I've got my items right here. I'm going it over in my head, and I'm not confident at all. Hopefully it works out. If I've got too many, I can just toss something, I guess. I don't know what I could toss, but I could toss something. Pick up the gold teeth and surf. And surf, again, Nidoking could learn surf, and it's not a terrible move for Nidoking, but he's not going to get it because he's already got enough stack moves. Doesn't need it. Dig out of here. And now I'm going to go back to Saffron, and I'm going to go fight Sabrina. Again, out of order. But you cannot, and I've said this quite a lot, you cannot die to Sabrina. Even though Sabrina is a psychic type trainer, and you would think she would be a very good matchup against Nidoking, you cannot die to Sabrina. It is the easiest fight in the game. The reason it's so easy is she leads... So she's got level 50 Pokemon, which is quite above where I am at this stage. But she has Abra, Kadabra, and Alakazam. And now the Abra does not have any moves. It doesn't. Its only move is Flash, which reduces my accuracy, which would be a problem, but I have X accuracy, so it's not a problem at all. So I just use the X accuracy, I use the X speed so I can beat Alakazam, because I wouldn't otherwise, and then I can just sweep through her. So there are other menuing techniques like using the X items there. So X accuracies are currently in slot 3. Instead of pressing down twice to get there, I actually press down and then right. And because I'm still holding down, pressing right also counts as a down press. And so it's just easier to press both of them instead of pressing down twice. Ends up being faster. So again, there's quite a few things like that throughout the run. And so this is why I wanted exactly 20 items. Sabrina's going to try to give me a TM, but because I have 20 items, my pack's full, and so she doesn't. And that ends up saving time. So I have done my items correctly. Well done. And so I took the... too many things to explain. I took the teleporter there and then dug out. The reason for that is usually when you dig, there's like this wind up to you digging out. But if you do it on a teleporter tile, it just does the teleport animation, which is way faster. So it ends up being better to do it that way. But okay, so now off to Fuchsia Gym. So this place, it can be a little dicey, but this is why I wanted a lot of health. So Koga's gym is basically a psychic gym. All the Pokemon that you fight in the gym are psychic types. Koga doesn't have psychic types. He's supposed to be the poison trainer, so he has poison types, but they all know psychic, which does quite a bit of damage, and also can reduce my special. The other move that he can use is Sleep Powder. Sleep Powder also sucks. So I just used Earthquake on the first Drowsy there because this trainer has 4 Pokemon, and I don't want to get confused at the end. Thrash is faster to use than Earthquake. It's also why I'm doing Sabrina earlier, because I need level 40 for Thrash to always kill these Drowsies. But so that trainer's not too bad. The second trainer, however, has a Hypno, and I can't one-hit the Hypno without critting, obviously. And so what move the Hypno uses is relevant, because if it uses Confusion, which does quite a bit of damage, I'm going to have to heal. So ideally I can just get a critical and it'll all be good. Okay, so here we go. So the Drowsy actually does more damage to you than Hypno, because the Drowsy knows Psychic, but the Hypno does not know Psychic. That's not a critical. Disable, that's fine, even if it disables Thunderbolt, which it didn't. So I kill with Thunderbolt again, because Thunderbolt is a shake move, so it's faster than using Earthquake again. Don't have to heal, so that's all good. Now into Koga. So like I said, Koga has... Or all his Pokemon know Psychic, and it sucks. He can use an X attack as an item. That is the most ideal. He also has a Venomoth that is faster than me, so I have to use both an X accuracy and an X speed, which means he gets 2 turns to attack me, which is not that great. But I'm going to use the X accuracy first. X attack, perfect. Now I can Horn Drill this one. So I'm killing the first Venonat before I use the X speed, because this Venonat knows Sleep Powder, but the second one doesn't. It has Psy Beam, which I'm not concerned about Psy Beam. Well, it can confuse me, so I'm a little bit concerned. But Psychic, even if it crits me, it won't kill here. So, all good. Now I can just sweep him with Horn Drill. That was a good fight. I'm really happy with that. Fantastic. And so again, because I've already got 20 items, he's not going to give me his TM for Toxic, which is good. That's going to be a theme for all of the rest of the gym leaders, is that I always want 20 items when I beat them, so they don't give me the TM. Even if some of the TMs aren't too bad, like Blaine gives you Fire Blast, and again, Nidoking can learn Fire Blast. Still not that useful for the run, so I don't want it. Oh, so I didn't talk about Badge Boost. So right there, he just said, the Soul Badge increases your defense. And I was talking about them not lying when they're talking about Badge Boost. He is lying. That does not increase my defense. It increases my speed. Surge's one increased my defense, and he told me it increased my speed. Liars. I was supposed to put on my bike here to go here, but it's not that big a deal. Pretty much the same amount of time. Now just pick up Strength here. Am I getting close to the end game now? Fly off to Pallet, and I'm going to use my mum to heal me here, because my mum is a faster heal than using a center. There's just less text and less like waiting for cutscenes, so she's nice and quick. Gets me back to full health, which I do want at this stage, and also gives me all my PP back. And then, what do we do here? Super Repel. Yep, that's good. Surf to Lapras. Strength. To Lapras. And then I'm going to teach Ice Beam, which is right there. Beautiful. And then off we go. The NPC was nice as well. Moved to make way for me. Okay, so the reason I taught Ice Beam there, even though I don't need it immediately, is, again, I had full items, and I need to make space now because I have to pick up the secret key in the mansion, which is where I'm going. I'm also going to pick up a car boost there, but then I'm going to use the car boost immediately so that I have space for it. And then the secret key will take up slot 20, and then I won't get the TMs from Blaine or from Erica. So another thing that I guess might not be inherently obvious is the way repels work. So repels in this game, well, in all the games, they only make it so that you can't get Pokemon that are a lower level than what you are. So my Nidoking is level 42 right now. In Pokemon Mansion, there are actually Pokemon that can still show up because there are level 43 and level 46 Pokemon that can show up in here. And so if I would get one of those, the repel is actually going to be meaningless. But they are not very common. It's kind of about average that you get one of them. And they start showing up on this floor. So I need to repel again. And then I'll just use that car boss on Nidoking. Yep. Okay, so this little ball here is the TM for Blizzard. Now, the absolute optimum route in this game uses Blizzard instead of Ice Beam. It's not much faster at all, and it's way riskier, especially at the end game, which is why I'm not doing it for a marathon run. Because Blizzard obviously can miss, and if it does, in almost every situation where you use it, if it misses, you die. And it's also, on the very last fight, you have to hope you get a really good damage range on the first Pokemon that the champion has. And so it's not worth risking at all for a marathon run. Anyway, if you're going for world record, probably worth risking. Okay, so now I have the secret key so I can fight Blaine. So, again here, I could fight Erica right now. I've taught Ice Beam, so that's the move I'm going to use to beat up Erica. But the reason I'm going to fight Blaine is because of what I was mentioning before, the badge boosts. So I just got to level 42. And because of that, if I fight Blaine now, I'm not going to level up until I defeat all of his Pokemon. If I were to fight Erica and then fight Blaine, I would level up during the fight, and that would make it so that his Arcanine would outspeed me, which sounds bizarre, but that's how it works. Because I'm going to use an X attack on Blaine, that's going to apply the badge boost again, and so I'm going to end up being an extra 1.125 times on my speed, and that's going to make it so that I outspeed all of his Pokemon. But if I were to level up, the badge boost from using the X attack would be reset, wouldn't be in effect anymore, and he would outspeed me. So it's one of those things that, if you're not aware of, you're probably going to make mistakes. But when you are aware of it, it all makes sense, and it all fits in together. I mean, I wouldn't say it makes sense, but it works. Okay, so Blaine still can be a bit of a tricky fight, especially with the route that I'm doing here. I'm doing even lower experience than the world record route here, which would be level 43 here. I'm only level 42, which means his Arcanine can actually live. What I'm going to do, I also, again, I have to set up the X attack on Ninetales. Ninetales can be annoying. Ideally, it uses Tail Whip. Tail Whip, Tail Whip, Tail Whip. Oh, okay. It's still good, but if the Tail Whip had hit, it would have applied a badge boost to my attack, and then I would have been guaranteed to kill the Arcanine. Still, getting Tail Whip is very good, and I am in favor to one-hit the Arcanine as well. I think it's a 2 in 3 range, so hopefully I get it, and we're all good. Or I can crit. That'll do. Alright. Easy, easy, easy. So the other reason why I want to do Blaine before Erica is because Blaine gives me the last badge boost. He gives me the badge boost for special. And he doesn't lie. It actually does. And so because I have the special boost, Ice Beam is now guaranteed to kill Erica's Pokemon. But if I went there straight away, it would not have been guaranteed. And so now Erica, the 4th gym leader, I'm going to do 7th, which, yes, technically it's out of order, but funnily enough, when I played this game as a kid, like, I replayed it a number of times, and I pretty much always did Erica 7th because I would just forget about her. Because she's so far out of the way, I would just never go there, and the game opens up so much, and there's no real indication to send you down there unless you know, or you're thinking about, hey, I'm going to fight Erica. And so I would always beat everyone else and then go to the Viridian Gym, and it would just be like, you don't have enough badges, and I would just think that's wrong. I've got no idea what I've missed. And then I would fight Erica. But okay, so there's absolutely nothing to these fights, though. Unless, again, I get a Gen 1 miss. But it's just use Ice Beam, and Ice Beam takes him out. Getting Tail Whip from the Ninetales is really good. So it had Flamethrower, which would have done about half my health, and also Confuse Ray, which would have been very annoying. It also has Quick Attack, which it didn't use on either turn. So being at full health here is really good because after this, I'm just going to go to Viridian and we're going to do Giovanni. Giovanni is one of the worst fights in the game, one of the riskiest, and being at full health for him would be really nice. I'm still not necessarily going to be at full health because there's a few trainers that I have to do in his gym first, but if I can be full health there, that's going to be very good. Okay, there we go. 7 badges. And yeah, she allows you to use Strength, which you don't need to use Strength until you get to Victory Road. So, again, you just never really notice that you need to fight Erica. Okay, so as I mentioned before, Giovanni is one of the riskiest fights in the game. The reason it's so bad is if you've got enough health, he can't one-hit you unless he criticals. But the Pokemon that he leads with is a Dugtrio, which, as I mentioned earlier, is a very fast Pokemon, and its crit rate is 23.4% because of that, which is very, very high. And so it's very likely that he can get a crit on you. And when it's like, you look at that and you're like, oh, but you still favor it for it not to happen. But you think of how many fights a critical will just end you. Having 23.4% and that kind of stuff adding up throughout the run, it's actually more likely that you get crit and die at some stage than you don't. But okay, this is the fight where I can take some damage, because I do have to set up an X attack so that I can one-hit his Machokes. So hopefully the Machoke uses Leer, and I can just stay at full health. Or Focus Energy, that works too. I like it a lot. So that last X attack, I have 4, but I'm not going to use any more X attacks. Again, that's just so I can keep 20 items, because if I use my last X attack there, I would be at 19, and then Giovanni would give me his TM for Fisher, which I don't want to happen, so... I haven't had any deaths yet, which is good, which it means I still have my 2 revives. So usually when I'm doing attempts, I don't buy revives, but I got some for this run just because it's likely that I do die at some stage, like I said, and so just have the backup so that if I do die, I don't have to, you know, just be completely screwed and don't have to do more safety saves. Like, I figure it's faster to just buy the revives than save before every fight in case I die. That being said, I am still going to safety save for Giovanni. The reason I'm going to do that is, even if I die here, it's going to be, like, he cannot wipe out my party. He simply cannot, because his Dugtrio cannot kill my Pidgey. It can't. It's only got ground-type moves. It has Earthquake, Dig, and Fissure, and Sand Attack is the other move. So it can't kill the Pidgey. So if he killed me and I ran out of revives, I would just be sitting there with the Pidgey, spamming Gust until the Dugtrio died. He gave me Guard Spec, which is perfect. No damage. Awesome. So I use the X speed there because the Dugtrio outspeeds me, and then I can just kill, and now on the Persian I'll X accuracy. Slash, that's going to do a pretty significant amount of damage, but, because it always crits. But now I'm set up, and so I can just Horn Drill and take him down. I think the Sand Slash can do 61 damage, so I think I should heal after this fight, unfortunately. That Persian did a lot. That was a really high roll. Which is a shame, but I've got super potions, so I'll just use one of those. I definitely don't want to use my full restore. I could risk it. I'm at 60. I'm going to. Screw it. I'm going to risk it. Don't have space, and off we go. I've got revive, so even if I die, it won't be catastrophic. Okay, so definitely coming up to the final stretch now. Off to Viridian Rival. So like I said, he leads with Sand Slash, and Sand Slash has Slash, which does... I think the damage roll is from 51 to 61, and I'm at 60 health, so hopefully I should be fine. And if he does use it and I live, it'll put me into red bar, and so that'll end up saving a little bit of time, which is the main reason that I didn't heal. Special. Okay, he didn't even use Slash. Fury Swipes. That's not going to kill me. It's going to take longer, though. This just takes forever. Alright. So with this fight, it would be faster to use an X accuracy and Horn Drill everything, simply because Horn Drill is such a fast move as well. But I don't have the PP for it. I also don't have the money to buy another X accuracy, because X accuracies cost a lot more than X specials. So it's better in this case to just use an X special and wipe through him like this. Okay, all good. And so there's only 5 fights left in the run now, which is the Elite Four, but I've got to do quite a bit of movement before I get up to them, because I've got to go through the path up to Victory Road and then Victory Road as well. But there really isn't too much to talk about here, it's just a lot of moving, so if there's any donations or things that people want to say, this would be a good time.
We've got a $20.02 donation from Stefan 1704. Just says nice.
Nice.
We've got a $2.56 donation by Acefish. Says here's $2.56 as a tribute to the infamous Gen 1 miss.
Fantastic. Okay, so in Victory Road here, similar to in Pokemon Mansion, there are wild Pokemon that can show up. Because I'm doing a lower experience route, there's actually a few more, because I can get level 47 Gravelers, because I'm only level 47. But the main concern is level 49 Onyxes that can show up. And Victory Road, it's pretty long, and obviously there's all these strength puzzles that I've got to do, so I get a pretty decent chance that one shows up. I didn't get one in Pokemon Mansion, which was nice. If I can go through here without getting one, that'd be good too. No. Okay, the Super Repel is actually going to wear off. You cannot waste a tile there if you want the Super Repel to... Wait, it's the top. Okay. I had a bit of a brain freeze for a second there thinking, is that trainer on the top line or the bottom line? And I just wasn't sure. But... Oh, no. Strength. Strength is usually at the top there because you teach Strength before Surf, but I did Surf first this time. But yeah, you walk like exactly 199 steps until you use the next menu where you want to use the Super Repel. So because I used it a bit early there, I'm going to have to do an extra menu, which is not a big deal at all, but just a little bit unoptimal. So I'll just use it here. Oh no, it's already on it, of course. Okay. So usually I would use it after I fall down the hole. Not a big deal. And then one more. Last Strength Boulder, we're almost there. I guess here I'll try and go for something that's just called Swag Boulder, which does nothing. But if you press up just as you hit the boulder, like that, it just looks a bit strange. A little bit of fun. Okay. And we're out of here. Okay, so I normally would deposit my Pokemon here at the PC, but because I have revives, if I'm going to use the revives, I actually need them in my party, so I'm not going to. Just going to go straight to the center. The reason it would be faster to deposit the Pokemon is so that they don't show up in the Hall of Fame, so you can skip the little cutscene where they're just coming across, entering. But I'm just going to heal at the center. I'm also going to buy full restores here, again, just in case I die. Also because I only have one, and you pretty much always need at least two. So, just going to do it. And just buy 6, that'll be enough. Well, it should be. I hope so. And then into the Elite Four. So, Lorelei. Lorelei has very specific AI, which hopefully won't matter for this run. So she has 3 moves that she can use. Bubble Beam, Aurora Beam, and Rest. Rest is the really good one. Again, it's a psychic move, so she thinks it's super effective. Which is why she can use it. Well, actually, she has specific AI, so it's a little bit different. But anyway. If she's going to use one of the attacking moves, I would much prefer Aurora Beam. Bubble Beam is not what I want. The reason this is bad is because it can drop my speed, and it did not. Okay. So if it had dropped my speed, I would have used the next speed and hope she just used Rest on turn 2, which seems quite a bit risky, but because Lorelei has really specific AI, she's very highly prioritized to using Rest on turn 2. In Red and Blue, she's actually guaranteed, and so what you do is you switch to Pidgey, and just let the Pidgey die to Aurora Beam, and then just send it in and she uses Rest, and it's fine. In Yellow, they changed it a little bit, so she's like 80.5% chance to use Rest or whatever. Very strange, but anyway. She didn't crit, she didn't get the speed fall, so it's all good. Nothing but Horn Drill. Okay, so then Bruno. So Bruno is, I would say, the easiest. I've just got to remember to get my Horn Drill PP back. I pretty much always forget this, so it's a good thing that I've remembered. I think we'll just use the elixir, that'll be fine. Then to Bruno. So Bruno, his Onix can kill me with Dig. So I'm just going to kill the Onix and then set up on his second Pokemon, which is Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan also has a move that's super effective, which is Ice Punch. But Hitmonchan has such bad special that Ice Punch just does so little damage. Bruno also has bad AI, despite being an Elite Four member. So even though his Hitmonchan has Ice Punch, it can also just use Thunder Punch, which does no damage. Fire Punch, okay? Halfway. He burnt me. Are you serious? Jesus. That's actually, I mean, it's a good thing that I bought the extra full restores, so I'm going to have to use a full restore before Agatha, because burn reduces your attack, and I'm not going to be using Horn Drills on Agatha because she's got so many ghost types. I'm going to be using Earthquake mostly, and so I can't have the attack drop. Also because it's going to be a nuisance with, like, I don't get burn damage when I one-hit a Pokemon, but when I'm setting up, I would be taking burn damage, and that's going to be a little bit of time waste, so I'll just full restore before her. Good thing it didn't use Ice Punch, though, and freeze me. That would have been quite terrible. Okay, so full restores are going to be pretty low. They'll be about there, yep. So Agatha, she can be bad, she can be good. Great insight. The Gengar knows, which I'm going to set up on the first one, it knows some pretty annoying moves. It knows Confuse Ray, which is really bad. It knows Substitute, which is a lot of time waste, and it knows Lick, which can paralyze me. Its other move is Mega Drain, which doesn't really do much, so that's the one that I want. The thing that I also really want is for her to switch, which is rare, but it can happen. If Lick doesn't paralyze, it's perfect. Good, that's perfect. Alright, I'll take that. But yeah, Agatha has a small chance to just switch her Pokemon. You don't see it too much. I think it's 20 in 256 that she does it. There it is. Alright, so that saves Golbat using a move, and it could have confused me and such as well, so I'll take that. That's good. So I'd usually use the full restore after this fight, because I really want to be at full health before Lance, and I still do. I could actually survive the first turn, or maybe I should not heal. Decisions. No, I should heal. I should heal. Okay, so like I said before, I'm trying to avoid safety saving as much as I can, but I am going to safety save before Lance, because both of these fights, they can just kill me straight away, and if I ran out of revives, having to redo the entire Elite Four would be pretty bad, so I'm just going to, after taking the heal here, save. Okay, so Lance. Lance has good AI, and he leads with a Gyarados that knows Hydro Pump. So the Gyarados is just always going to use Hydro Pump. And Hydro Pump would actually one-hit me straight off the bat. And I can't one-hit him, even with Thunderbolt, even though it's 4 times effective. It does not one-hit him. Gyarados is a good poke. But so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use an X special, which will raise my special so that I have enough to be able to tank the Hydro Pump, but also increase my special attack enough so that I can kill with Thunderbolt. That did a lot of damage. That Hydro Pump, it did a lot of damage. What should I do? Okay, I've got extra full restores. I'm actually going to full restore here. If this Dragonair used Ice Beam, it could kill me, so... yeah, that would have killed. That was the right play. And then I'm going to X Speed. And he froze me. Very cool. Good thing I bought extra full restores. What I don't want him to do is use Bubble Beam and drop my speed. Oh, don't do it now. Okay, didn't drop my speed. All good. So, I crit every single one of his Pokemon and it's not good. It's just a complete waste of time. The reason I had to use the X Speed on that Dragonair, the first Dragonair is actually less dangerous. It only knows normal type moves. But I had to do it on that one because I get a level up between the two. And if I use the X Speed on the first Dragonair, that means, like I've said quite a number of times, I don't get the special badge boost. And so the Ice Beam on Aerodactyl would not kill. It would do not enough damage. And then the Aerodactyl could use Hyper Beam, crit, and I would just be dead. So just trying to avoid that. I'm pretty close to full health here, but I am going to heal again. Otherwise, I could die. Where are my supers? I didn't use my Max Ether, did I? Cool. Alright. So I was supposed to use my Max Ether there to get my Horndrill PP back, but I didn't, so that was very smart of me. So in this fight, the very last one, I'm going to use an X Special to start with to give me enough special to be able to kill the Sand Slash, enough defense to be able to tank the Earthquake, and enough speed to be able to outspeed the Alakazam. Very important. But the Sand Slash is always going to use Earthquake, and if this crits, I'm dead. It crit, I'm dead! Very cool, but I got revives. Revive. Cool. Can't kill the Pidgey. Oh. The fact that it missed is good if I have to use another revive, so I can still heal to full on the other dudes. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, and so in this fight, animations are turned on by default. You cannot turn them off. Earthquake. Being in red bar here is good, especially with the animations on. It saves even more time at this point. So I will X accuracy. Yeah, okay. And I'll max Ethan now on Horn Drill. And that'll be fine. And now I can just Horn Drill. The Executor is very nice. It only knows Leech Seed and Hypnosis. The fact the first Leech Seed missed was actually amazingly good, because then I didn't have to watch Leech Seed come back, and Hypnosis would be really bad because I would have to heal the Hypnosis. That I could have been just stuck into healing against Hypnosis, and it could have been really, really bad. Horn Drill, again, absolutely amazing in that even when its animation is forced back on, is very, very fast. It's such a good move. Alright, I defeated you. That's the end. We did it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that run. It was, as expected, a complete train wreck, especially at the start, but that is Pokemon to a T. So much is always going to go wrong, but at least I didn't have any whiteouts, so all good. I hope you guys enjoyed the run. We've still got plenty more going on today. Next, we've got Metroid Zero Mission, 100%, by the very talented, very beautiful, very bad name, JRP. So stick around for that. And so this is why I normally would deposit the Pokemon, just for this little Hall of Fame sequence. And we do end time just after the Hall of Fame, even though obviously everything's pretty much going to go exactly the same from this point. But it was a good thing I took them with me, given I had the death. And time is now.